should I say, late evening. We're tapping
Right.
in.
You mean late night?
Dr. Short, I think this is really what, some people say what it is, late breaking news or breaking news.
Oh,
But I
mirror,
think
mirror on the wall. Who's the hardest looking stud of all? Jesus, God have mercy. Deliver us, God. Oh, my Lord. Folks say you hate feminism. You shouldn't hate feminism, but people should ask why. We're reasonable people. We're being driven to this, ladies. Why won't someone cry out? Why won't there be a watcher on the wall? Where are our sisters to come against this stuff? Oh, my God. This is late breaking. Bad news that you received several days ago. Didn't I say Newsom was going to pick somebody gruesome? That
well,
Senate seat. And I thought it would be Barbara Lee. But then again, I have my doubts because Barbara Lee is married to a man, even though she does look a little bit like the Grinch that stole Christmas. But Barbara Lee was involved with the Panthers a little bit and involved with Shirley Chisler. She's been out there for over 50 years doing community stuff. Can't trust her. You got to put someone in there that's been on some whack stuff.
she might be like the spook who sat by the door.
Well, she might, yes, she may have a little bit of love still for the community. Maybe some halfway decent sex from her preacher husband will remind her that black men and black women are in the same race. They can't leave that to chance. They need women that hate men, and they need effeminate men that hate men and hate women, or they can't put them in positions. But here we go. So Newsom with them tight pants on and all those little dinners he goes to.
So for those in the chat that
God.
may or may not know, late Sunday evening, early Sunday evening, California.
No, it was yesterday sometime.
No matter where you are, Gavin Newsom has tapped Laphonza Butler to take over for Feinstein's vacant seat for the rest of the 2024 year. And the reason why this is so important is because Barbara Lee, who is running for the seat,
who's currently running for the U.S. Senate in California.
And this is the latest example of a smack in the face for Black women tragic.
Mm-hmm. Black girl tragic.
Because if you know anything about Barbara Lee, is why not her? Why not now? And as I said yesterday, and Dr. Short been explaining, Gavin Newsom, don't be fooled by him. He's Bill Clinton 2.0.
And he's shifty.
And he's shifty. He's a
he's
liar.
Nasty. Yes, he is.
He does a bunch of double talk. Like I said, if you don't believe me, look into what he has said about reparations out in California. Whether he commissioned a study or not, he does a lot of double talk. But
and probably does double in his bedroom. This is like Bill Clinton probably does double. You saw that picture, that Epstein picture of Bill Clinton in the dress. That was painted from him being in a dress. Yeah. What's a man doing in a woman's dress and pumps on? And Bill Clinton, he was the one with the "don't ask, don't tell." I mean, and
usually in politics, you always hear people say fresh blood, fresh ideas,
or fresh meat,
which can be understood in some cases. In the case of Laphonza Butler, it's not the case. She's only been in public office for 14 years, and she'll
public service.
Public service.
She's been doing stuff, I guess, since the 2000s, but Barbara Lee's been doing stuff since the 60s.
Dr. Short, if you don't mind, could you give us some history on Laphonza Butler?
What I know of Laphonza Butler is that she's from Mississippi. Her father died when she was young. I think she went to Jackson State. That's a school in Jackson, Mississippi. She went somewhere else, and then she hooked up, and I'm trying to think. We should read her bio. You know, they have a little bit of this stuff up. But I know for a certain period of time, she was with the union group that's super liberal and strange, SEIU. Yes, she was. And then she did that. And then she went into the, I think she's in the California Assembly for a second. And then they put her in, Governor Newsom named her to the California Board of Regents. But it's very interesting, you know, there are almost no black folks in the California system because of what that little no good dude did. Forgive me, the one from Ward Connerly. They've purged the California university system of black students largely, but she was one of the regents on that board, and she was named the first black lesbian mother to head Emily's List. Emily's List is a lesbian political fundraising group that promotes abortion, lesbianism, and Planned Parenthood and gayness. And if you want their money, you have to be for this radical sexuality and eugenics agenda. And if you do, you get money. So when you see all these black women running for stuff, and yes, black women, since none of y'all will tell the truth, some of us are going to have to tell the painful truth. You have to literally be like in the cheerleading squad for baby killing, Planned Parenthood, and LGBTQI+. And then they will fund your campaign. And by the way, you have to be Democratic. So if you notice, you see all the black women in office doing the same stupid stuff nationally. They're all getting money from Emily's List. Emily's List was started by this woman. I think her name was Malcolm is the last name. Let me look her name up real fast. Malcolm is the last name. And it's so many damn names to remember to explain, because our people don't read. Yes, I'm giving y'all hell. People don't read. And we shouldn't have to remember for people. People should know what the hell Emily's List is by now. It's been out here for a while, but let me do this. Let me help everybody out. And and the woman's name, I was going to say Emily Malcolm, but I knew that wasn't it. It's Ellen Malcolm. Mm-hmm. All right. Emily's List is the American Political Action Committee that promotes or helps Democratic candidates in favor of abortion, LGBTQ to get elected. It was started in 1985 by a lesbian that looks like Herman the Munster, if you've ever seen that. Her name was Ellen Malcolm. And Emily, the acronym stands for Early Money is Like Yeast. So what Emily's List does, you'll find if you've ever worked in politics, worked on a campaign, one of the biggest challenges is that you have is money. Political campaigning, especially the way this society is structured, you need money to reach people. Okay, you just do, for signs, for buttons, for advertising, to get people to do stuff. Unless you truly have a grassroots movement where you're in touch with thousands of people, because in order to do politics, you have to engage or be able to contact people or have a system. And so no matter how smart, brilliant, connected, decent you are, you need a machine. You need people to put signs in. You need people to make phone calls. You need people to go to meetings. You need security. You need workers. You need folks to canvass. And literally, you literally have to have money. Unless you're working and you've got such a system, like you're engaged with people, there's certain careers, like maybe being a minister or a person that's well known in the community where you live, where you're dealing with large numbers of people that you can mobilize to get them to do something. If you don't have that, unless you're not connected to people who have it, you really can't be effective locally or nationally. You really have to have money. Mm-hmm. So the whole logic of early money is like yeast. It's that when you start off, because a lot of times a lot of people enter into a political race, maybe you have 50 people running. A lot of folks are going to get weeded out by one particular thing: money.
Okay.
Think about it. You're going to need it. In particular, if you go up against someone who has, you can have the best program, the best everything, and no one will hear about you. For example, I worked for a political race, and the people did not like the candidate I worked for. Even when there was a major news story, and they wouldn't publish her name, no one knew she was running, and they didn't have the money to buy advertising. And then, or actually, they chose not to buy ads. They're trying to be cheap. And as a result, nobody knew she was running. They didn't know until the last minute. You have to have that money, because you'll find if you're going up against connected people, they'll make a deal. Like the Washington Post would not do any stories on they wouldn't. When they were talking about candidates running for office, they mentioned everybody's name but hers. So you can't count if you're running against someone that's connected or they have friends, you can't count on anything. You have to be able to buy stuff. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to put some money in people's hands. And in particular, you got to have something to get people's asses to the polls. And so, $100, $200, a few $100, whatever, in somebody's hands to work on your campaign. For example, let's say you know somebody and they have an auto club. Say that auto club has 2,000 members. You throw a few $100s at someone, they can let everybody in their group know. Poof. And if they were to have an event, they can drive their nice automobiles so everybody will notice it. You've got to have cash. I'm going to say it one more time. You've got to have money to be in this game. They tell Black folks just vote. No, you better have money and you better have a system and all that before you even get out there, because the other people who are involved have forces backing them. So Emily's List has become basically the stud sugar daddy to Black women in politics. When you put up that flyer a couple of days ago, and we were talking about rotten Black women in politics, every single solitary Black woman on that flyer has either been offered money, received money, or been endorsed by Emily's List, including Angela Ossobrooks. Someone asked me about Angela Ossobrooks. Angela Ossobrooks was endorsed by Emily's List. So imagine you have this woman looks like Little Richard with no makeup. Miss Butler, who is a lesbian, who's been with another woman for many years. It's a matter of public record. I'm not picking, although she does look like Little Richard with no makeup. In fact, she looks like Little Richard after he quit show business and got with Jesus, and then went back to men and show business and broke up with his wife. I'm just saying, he does look like Little Richard when he tried to get right with God. If you want, you want me to send you a picture of Little Richard when he tried to get back with God? You haven't seen you. I'm gonna send you. I think she looks like Little Richard on his album cover. Here Comes Little Richard. It's an album that came out in the early '60s. I'm going to send this to you because people think, I'm not lying. I don't need to lie on people. I don't need to lie on people. When I send this to you, you're going to laugh. And you're going to say, oh, my God, that's a beautiful. Here comes little Little Richard. I think that's the name of the album. It's from like 50 some odd years ago. Okay. Here comes Little Richard. Let me see. Here's Little Richard. That's not what I want. I'm gonna have to pull up Little Richard stuff. But back to this lady. She was in SEIU and she worked all over the country. But once she got to this Emily's List thing, that made her a power where she knew and had gave money or was supervising money going to women politicians across the country. Gavin Newsom made a very smart move because he wants to run for president. He's put up this black lady, this stud, who's been the bag woman for women candidates all over America. All of those women owe her ass a favor. By extension, that owes Gavin Newsom a favor. And plus she's with SEIU. She was a labor organizer for women for SEIU for many, many years, all over the country, in the Midwest and other battleground places where dude's going to have to run. This lady's going to know people. She's going to be able to pull on her union stuff, on her Emily's List stuff, her Planned Parenthood stuff, her LGBTQ stuff. And by the way, they work with Black Lives Matter and with other people. This woman is connected in a way that Barbara Lee is restricted to the Bay Area, even though she's reasonably well known.
Okay.
Are you understanding me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to send you some Little Richard pictures. Yes, I am. You think I'm joking? Don't play with me, man. You've been dealing with me a long time, and there's a certain point where you know if I tell you something, it's going to be just like I told you, even if you don't want to believe it. And sitting up here acting like I would make this up. She does too look like Little Richard. See, you've got that makeup. I mean, take the makeup off of him. Okay, I'm sending you some pictures. You can post them. You know we have to make fun of her. Yes, we insult people on the show I do. We have to talk bad about people.
That's Little Richard for those in the chat. That's how Little Richard looked at towards the end of his life.
No, yeah, he does look like she does look like him, especially towards the end of his life. She looks like Little Richard. When you look, she does look like Little Richard.
Oh, man.
Okay, I mean, you can't make this thing up, can you? She looks like Little Richard. And I'm going to send you some more pictures. And these aren't even the ones I want. There's a picture of him. Little Richard Returns. I'm trying to figure out which album is it, where he has his hands up in the air, and she does look like him. And trying to think. Yeah. Oh my. Let me see. I'm digging here. I'm almost done. I'm about to give up on.
Yeah, Bismarck. Yeah, Bismarck. Tutti Frutti.
Yeah, well, she's Tutti Frutti. She won't give man booty.
Exactly, Michael. That's a very profound statement. I appreciate the kind words first and foremost, but part of your statement you said, information people should be aware of, which is the reason there is no upward mobility among the collective. This is my first time checking out the live stream. I appreciate your support. We have a lot of videos in reference to stuff like this.
And yes, with lots of foul language, but there's information too. Here it is. This is the picture I wanted.
And
I found the picture I wanted.
that goes on and that has been going on. When you look at this woman, Laphonza Butler's career in politics, like Dr. Short just explained what Emily's List was all about, there is no way, if you're talking about just strictly politics, there's no way that Gavin Newsom should have selected her over Barbara Lee. There's just no way. It has nothing to do with the race. It has nothing to do with nothing else but the agenda, the hidden agenda that they continue to do.
It's not even hidden. It's
like the sister Kim Robinson said, black women that look like her are not a threat to saltine females and males. They're puppets.
They're sex toys. They're dick rings. It's a shame, and this is terrible. And they keep doing this over and over. And by the way, I'm going to tell you who I blame. Black men don't have standards in our race, neither for women or for themselves. And as a result, men don't lead, they don't lay a foundation, and they don't stick to it. And they run after the women instead of standing up. You have to tell women the truth. And sometimes, they're on an emotion, but you got to be a man. We seem to feel like not being a man is the way to be a man. And then what ends up happening is these races pick these studs to replace us. And I can find a dude who say, man, I want to just be positive. I just want to be weak. I just want to be a chump and just support. I don't really want to get into all of that. And you know what? They sound like women, although they're males. I don't want security and safety for the black community. I don't think we should have to be unified and stand together. Why can't we just live as people and nobody be I mean, these guys sound like women. Their logic is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of punk ass men. That's, oh my God, a curse word. All these weak black men. It's why, because no Mexican woman, no woman of any other group would dare do these things. So you see little Mexican dudes about 4 feet, 8 inches. But you know what? There's still men running their community. Got a black man 6'8", like Dwayne Wade, and you're going to mutilate your child. You're a giant, but not in your manhood, and maybe not in bed. And I hope Gabriel Union's a woman. Them big quarterback shoulders she's got. Let me just say this, so we're very clear on this. There's no reason on God's earth. In fact, he put Butler up there to trip up Barbara Lee and to bust up what's left of any black power in the state of California, as little as there is. This was to destroy reparations. See, Barbara Lee may have said something about reparations if she had a Senate position. But do you really think this woman who owes everything to Newsom is going to be loyal to black people when she's intersectional? This is the death of reparations in California. Remember, Newsom just trashed reparations a few days ago, putting this stud in that Senate seat is that's the end of reparations in California. And he knew how to do it. He knew all he had to do. Yes, I keep repeating myself. Yes, I'm gonna just cuss. Put a fucked up black woman somewhere, preferably a stud. And you know what? All of a sudden, half of our community, yes, you know who, Black women, all of a sudden they're so happy a Black woman got a job. They can't see the forest for the trees. And then, of course, the men that are basically vagina panhandlers, they want to look cool and hip. So that even though this woman would have nothing to do with them. And that's an effective way to destroy. They learned this with the Black Panthers. They had one Black woman sleeping with people named Elaine Brown, who was screwing people in the FBI and screwing the Black Panthers, getting Black men killed. And she's still seen as a hero because she gave some pussy to some people. That's amazing. Do you know you can't do this in any other group of people, no matter how good the pussy was? They'd bump your ass off.
You're right, Jibber Jabber. This could be for her stance on Iraq. Barbara Lee did have a big stance, but we got to understand Barbara Lee, and we're not endorsing her, but she has, she literally is, I'll say she hasn't done much to hurt us. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I'm endorsing her. Dr. Short's not saying she's endorsing us, but she hasn't.
Well,
she hasn't.
You don't hear me trash Barbara Lee. You know, I talk bad about a whole bunch of people. I've been very, very said nothing about Barbara Lee other than she looks like the Grinch that stole Christmas. That's as far as I go on that. So see. No, if you're okay or if you're not really hurting us, I don't tend to say that much. So if you hear me come down on some, it's because all they do is attack us. Now, Barbara Lee, of course, she's going to be for baby killing, and she supported the Equality Act, and there's a whole bunch of deleterious stuff that she's supported. But Barbara Lee is someone that you might be able to go to if she can, although I know that that's been diminished. She used to be someone that was standing up. The politics keep changing. Black folks keep getting weird. We're strange. I mean, Black folks, if you stand up for Black folks, except being betrayed, except being lied on, except not being supported, we're very different from other people. If you stand for Jews, Jews back you. You stand for Asians, Asians back you. Mm-hmm. You stand with Italians, Italians back you. Stand for Black people, basically fuck you. Well, you're supposed to stand up for me, and I'm supposed to not help you. Well, nobody told you to stand up and fight for my rights. And then I don't have any rights. We are psychotic. We're sick as a people. So betrayal is the norm. Half of Black folks are traitors, and I'm serious. There's betrayal is all you get. You get betrayed by the preacher, betrayed by the first lady. You get betrayed by practically anybody. It's very difficult to do anything in our community because we don't have any norms. We have the morals of a back alley abortionist. Sure we do. And therefore, nothing really stands. You know, I was sharing with you, brother, I had been watching these documentaries on the Norwegian resistance to the Nazis. And what did the Norwegians do at the end of the Second World War? Once they got control of their country after the Germans were shut down, they executed all their traitors. They just shot their asses. We're the only people where traitors get to be rich. P. Diddy, were he in another ethnic group and he did what he did to Tupac and Biggie, people would burn his records. What we look at is where he's rich and he has a plane. We don't care what he did to Justin Bieber. We don't care if he was trying to screw Usher. We don't want to know. All we can see, and we're so hedonistic and degenerate as a group. If you've got a big car and a big house, I want a big car and a big house too. If I have to crack my behind, and as much as I like women to get screwed by dudes to get to the money, I'll do it. The ends justify the means. We've become white people. We're just like them, if not worse, towards one another. Sure, I'm telling the truth. So you can't have progress with no moral compass. If you have no moral compass, why would slavery or sex trafficking or pedophilia be wrong? When you don't have a real normal compass, well, maybe the kid wanted it. I've heard people say, that kid came on to me. That baby wanted me. So I helped him out. Not, I'm a degenerate messing with an underage child. That girl, man, they old enough to wait, man. She put her hand on my piece. Shoot, her mother's in another room. It's time for her to learn. Somebody got to teach her. She was ready. I've literally heard people talk like this. Literally heard and seen that this is, wow, jail, something be done, right? And there'll be a person in the neighborhood mess with all the kids and nobody do anything about it. And the sorriest people of all are the mothers. Have these, I mean, you've seen this in your neighborhood. There's a guy that uses the kids to sell shit, and the mother just lets him because she don't want the kids around. That dude takes them. I'm going to give him a little bit of money. I'm going to show him some stuff. And they'll take like 10, 12 kids for hours unsupervised. Where are your kids? What do you have your kids doing? And these guys know that there's a sorry, batshit crazy, dumbass, liar, bitch mother who really doesn't care about her kids. And they want some free time. Can't ask her mother because she don't respect her mother. Her kids are so wild till her friends don't want to watch them or they're the same as her. So some dude comes along that's from the neighborhood. He got a cigarette in his mouth, give her a couple of dollars, and then he takes her kids off for about 10, 12 hours. And I've seen this. They used to dump them off at the church. And there'd be predators in the church. Just come take my kids. They wouldn't even come to church with their kids. Just come get my kids. Right? And 7, 8, 9, 10 kids would be gone for 12, 15 hours. The mother doesn't care. She won her own time. You haven't seen this kind of behavior? I know you have. Come on, talk to me, Q. You haven't seen it?
Yeah, I see it every day.
And of course, my mother did the best. No, your mother didn't do the best she could.
It's the failure of, and me and you discussed it last night after the broadcast. Regardless of where you are in life and what you've done in your past, where is the understanding of having standards and uplifting and encouraging each other to have good standards? And it's no more. It's no more. It's I fucked up. I'm a fuck up. I'm gonna continue being a fuck up, and I'm gonna just stay in my own shit.
And I'm gonna fuck my kids up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make them worse, and make them have no standards, and make them not hold me accountable.
Right. Because I'm gonna tell you a real story. I'm going back to maybe 1970. I can recall being in my dad's church and this woman coming in. I think it's an evening service. I think maybe it's a morning service. And the mother came in and disrupted the church service and cussed my father out in front of all the people there. These are my goddamn kids. And I do what the hell I want with my kids. And I'm not going to have you talking my kids coming, talking down to me. I take it, right? And she said, come on, you come with your mother. Y'all get that F out of here. Y'all, nobody challenge. And what had happened is the mother was whoring. And the kids had brought up the Bible commandments. And the mother was outraged. I saw all the pussy I want. Who told you? Reverend, I'll go see that nigga. And they pulled those kids out of the church so mom could still do her tricks and not be confronted. Oh, yes, this is why I'm very direct. And I don't play games with this bullshit with the sisters out here. Because I believe in the Bible when it says all have sinned and come short, not just males. We have this culture, black men. In fact, the most pathetic people in the world are black men. I have grown men saying, I don't know why she, of course you know why. The bitch is evil.
And Dr. Short,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? They can't, I mean, you can see a man is evil, but a woman does this evil stuff for 100 years and what, because she has a pussy, you can't see she's evil? She got to stab you or shoot you? And even then, well, why would she do that? Because, stop pretending. I mean, see everybody, by the way, I believe in the spiritual equality, that everybody is human, whether they're a sociopath or a saint, that women and men are equal creations with the equal ability to do great, good, in between, or do evil. Just because you sit down in the piss doesn't make you a saint for me. And just because you stand up at a urinal doesn't mean that I trust you either. Because they're evil, wicked-ass men and they're evil, wicked-ass women. In our community, we tend to only deal with male evil. And so when you're only willing to look at how men get stuff wrong, then, in fact, you can't correct things. If you got every black man together in America, got him on, locked up all the bad ones, whatever you did, and all the brothers were on code, if half or more of the sisters are off code, you still couldn't have a functioning family unit. Everybody's got to get and do what they're supposed to do. I've noticed in our community, we only are good at addressing men when they're wrong. When a woman's wrong, well, she's been hurt. Or she didn't have a father in home. She's doing it. And it's pathetic. It's disgusting. If you're that kind of dude, you're a sorry, lame-ass liar. You're part of the problem. When you have a standard for women, and I'm talking about a respectful thing. I'm not talking about beating women down and denying folk education. Mm-hmm. I'm not running like that. I'm saying that when you have a standard, like I told you about the woman with the 2 kids getting raped by her white husband, and it's been like 3 months and they still haven't given you anything for you to go forward to try to help out with the kids. I mean, damn, I get it. You're in a racist county and the father's racist and you slept with them, he beat you and he beat the kids and raped the kids. Okay, well, here's an opportunity perhaps to counter what he and the lawyers and the racist doing, and what do? You do nothing. I get the white dude being the pedophile and the batterer, all this stuff, but what are you doing? And so I've had to tell this bro, no, you're not gonna call me 50 times and whine to me about what's been done or what's being done. I told you the steps necessary for us to at least be in a position to determine if we can help you. And you know what? They don't want to give up the documentation. So that you say the kids are being raped and abused, they're trying to give custody to a pedophile father. And the resistance and the difficulty is pointed towards me as a black male, and not at the white man you were married to that's raping your kids and beating them. That's how sick a lot of you black women are. They're more angry at me being a black man, laying a standard to address the problem, than the courts trying to take the kids, the lawyers. You get where I'm coming from? That's insane.
And Dr. Short, it goes on to a bunch of, like you said, trying to hold each other to a standard and speaking about ills that definitely affect our community. A person will literally say, you're wrong for the way that you talk to women or talk about women, or I'm wrong, and all the platforms do is just degrade women. What's more degrading than 20 million abortions?
But let's look at what's more degrading than you aiding and abetting your husband raping your children. I'm talking about something real. I don't know these people. Someone says, "Would you help us?" I says, "Yes, brother. If they'll cooperate, we'll do what we can to help them." I'm just saying to you, I know the case of the guy who had the organs hacked out in Georgia, rolled up in the gym mat.
Oh, Kendall, I forget his name off.
Johnson is the last name.
Kendall, I can't remember.
Kendrick Johnson, I believe it's the name. Big part of the problem, and you'll find a lot of these cases when the young kids get killed or brutalized by the police, whatever. One of the big problems, as quiet as it's kept, is that it does have issues. These people know whose families to target. The pedophiles select families. These people know who hurt. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's wrong. But if you're part of a person that wants to do the right thing, right? If you want to do the right thing by somebody, if you want to do the right thing, you got to work with me. So if I told you, and I know other people, when these situations occur, and it's all about somebody's feelings. I feel. And I'm thinking, okay, you feel, but what's that going to do in court? Now, by the way, I see black men do it too, but they're feminized. They go to court up against someone that's been lying to them about child support, and they go in pro se. There's a whole bunch of, I'm just telling you, the biggest chump sucker morons on the planet are black dudes. This woman has a court-appointed attorney, probably a buzz-cut-haired lesbian, whose mission is to destroy families. This woman has let you know she doesn't care about you. She doesn't want you around your children. She hates you. And you go into a court of law, pro se, and figure if you kiss her ass in court, she'll show mercy on you.
Sure. I had a friend, right? Like, he was going through it about 6-7 years ago. So the day before he went to court, we talking. We met up, drank some coffee, and I said, "You at war?" He looked at me like I was crazy. I said, "Bro,
yes,
you are at war, man. All hands on deck like this." I said, "Don't be nice." I said, "I'm telling you from some personal experience, you are at war.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't no time to be nice and talk about, well, she is the mother of my children."
Yeah, what the hell does that have to do with anything? And so let me just tell you, I know someone, his wife, literally in Florida, when he came, he was up studying in the Midwest. When he came home, the locks on the door were changed. When he was knocking the door trying to figure out what's going on, she called the police and said that someone was trying to force their way into the house.
Wow. Setting him up to get murdered.
Setting him up to be murdered. But black women do this stuff all the time and get the man killed. And so luckily for him, he was able to handle himself with the police. But, had you gotten an eager beaver, that guy, he would have been shot dead at his own home. For no other reason than this woman decided she wanted to take the house and she wanted to move on. Never told him she wanted just get him killed. And then I could get the house and, move on. And, the police, and they could probably sue the police for shooting him, right?
And got money off of your death.
And got money and public sympathy for him dying and her being a widow. Oh, my God. All of that. And so he called me and says, well, what do I do? I said to him, you know what? I'm going to tell you two things that you've got to decide. If you're not trying to destroy this woman, never call me again.
He got mad at you?
No. I told him, you need to go to war. You need to fight. You're not giving up anything. Don't surrender. You want everything of yours out of the house. You want at least half the house. There's no other way. Anytime she's willing to have you killed and to try to imply that you were messing with dudes when he's not like that at all, destroy your reputation and kill you, do all this stuff when they didn't have to. By the way, she's Nigerian. He's Black American. And by the way, when I initially warned him, hey man, I mean no harm. There's a challenge. That's all I said. And he exploded. Okay. Then years later, about 2 years later, no more than 2 years, he said to me, were there any warnings of this? I said, nigga, I warned you once. And just a little bit I said made you go crazy. I didn't even say, I just said there's a challenge, and that made you explode. There's a challenge in every damn marriage. How the hell did that just make, so hell, you already knew, nigga.
And brothers, we gotta laugh at this shit, because this shit, it just repeats itself over.
That's no put down. That there's a challenge. I said, there's a challenge. Have a conversation with your wife. That's all I said. And that made him so angry, I never brought it up again. I never, ever told him what happened. Because I didn't want to be man and wife. I would just have a conversation. That's it. Even that was too much. See, and that's what I'm trying to say. The Black men are the women in our race. If you go to a woman with information on her man, she'll at least want to listen to it, even if she's going to turn on you. You can't say anything to some of these brothers. They're ready to kill you for saying anything. Even if you've known them 40 years and they just met this person, you better keep your mouth shut. So basically, you have to let these brothers get destroyed. And I'm at peace when I hear about dudes getting destroyed. But shoot, they're not gonna kill me if they got a piece of shit woman and you can't say anything. I'm gonna be quiet and just. I know someone right now that's got a woman from another country, from Jamaica, that's literally killing an older Black man, stealing his money and everything with identity theft and all this stuff. And this information is readily available. And the family member that cares is not allowed to save his life because he's getting some pussy. And so he's going to end up dead unless someone's lucky enough to get this person busted off of identity theft and some other things. Otherwise, he's gone because she'll kill him and steal all this stuff, steal his Social Security and all of that. All of his accounts and all got hacked, and her son has this hacking. And he's a computer. You get all of a sudden this stuff starts getting hacked, and you don't know how. And the woman does. She looks like a baboon with the weave, but he's happy. Yes, that's what's that commercial? What will you do for the Klondike? I guess what will you do for a blowjob, brother?
You know, it was crazy, Dr. Show. Me and my wife had this discussion earlier. A lot of these younger guys, and I'm not saying that some of these older women didn't have their issues, but a lot of these younger guys dealing with these younger women, they can't even get a decent meal out of a these women can't cook. They won't cook, Dr. Short.
Yeah, they don't do and don't want to have babies either. So it's really bad. But going back to this macho, look at this woman. Did you put up a picture of Little Richard that looks like her? Put up some Little Richard pictures. She does look like him. She does look like Little Richard. Put up some more. There's a real Little Richard one. Yes, that old Little Richard. She really looks like the old Little Richard too. They have the same shaped face. See, there's a picture of her that it's up on. I'll have to find it and send it to you. Okay, some more. Keep a studying cause you don't like men. Keep a studying cause you don't like men. Keep a studying cause you don't like men.
Tutti Frutti.
No. Keep a studying cause you don't like men. Keep a studying cause you don't like men. Keep a studying cause you don't like men. Cut off your tits and do it again. Keep us right.
So those
you don't like men. You a stud and you don't like men.
A little late.
You a stud and you don't like men. Cut off your tits 7 times again.
Gavin Newsom has named Laphonza Butler the next descendant to take over Feinstein's seat for the rest of 2023 to 2024.
And Laphonza Butler is a macho-looking woman, the little Richard-looking broad. Here, one hugging on, she probably hit Kamala. Look at how close, the way Kamala smiles. She don't even touch her white husband like that. She and Kamala are very, very close.
Yeah, D. Griff, I know you understand it. At 26, I'm quite sure you see it, how a lot of our young ladies, they'll hang out all night and won't even cook for their families the next day. And I'm not saying cooking is the end-all, be-all.
No, cooking is the end-all. It's to be expected. Yeah. Part of what's killing our community is the bad food, the processed food. The women don't cook. That's part of what women do. Nah, be a patriarch. I'm a patriarch. Look, I know how to cook myself, but when I get married, someone else cooks. Where's this thing come from that men are not to expect anything? Excuse me. There's what do you bring to the table other than the fact you have a vagina? I mean, if it seems as if I'm going to just say this to all the weak black men out there, if a vagina brings that much to the table, how come your dick doesn't bring something to the table? How come you don't get any credit for, and if you don't lay the pipe, those people will be on the talk show. My husband can only go for like 45 minutes. Right? You don't see no dudes come on TV and talk about the wives that don't screw. Okay. I work with people from the counseling profession that know all these men that have wives that don't have sex for 3-4 years in a row. And the man has to decide on how long he can hold out, not get none. Or if he gets himself some, then she files for divorce for infidelity. See, there should be a law against a person marrying somebody and then not putting out. You don't cook and you don't fuck either. Please.
If anything, that's sexual abuse.
It is, but you know what? I'm gonna go back and say it again. Men in America, in particular, black men, we cheat ourselves. Part of our reparations has to include the destruction of feminism. It has to go. It can't wait anymore. Part of reparations is that you can't run in the court and lie on me. You can't do this kind of stuff and systematically their whole districts where if you get divorced and you're a black man, you just get destroyed. That woman was she marries you to destroy you, to take your money and move on. And there's stories all over the internet of women that decide I don't want to be married anymore and throw the man out. And then they realize you're 60 with that old sloppy second cooch you got. Nobody's trying to push up to you. You threw the man out who at least was, taking care of it. And then you realize nobody wants you. They have there's this I call it pussy inflation, this exaggerated sense of importance that the modern woman has. No, fool, you're supposed to work those first, and particularly between the years of 19 and 29, frankly, you got 20 years to really work because it starts going down. I mean, there's an expiration stamp ticking on your cooch, and it starts ticking louder and slower the older you get. It doesn't become easier. That's really dumb. So I've seen women decide, I just don't want to be married anymore. There was someone 30, 40, I'm tired of being married. Now, when men just walked off, it was bad. When the women just walk off, well, she needed a change. She needed to find herself. Damn it, you should have found yourself at the wedding ceremony and said no. Find yourself when they pull out a ring and say no. You wait until there are people and property and folks born. See, there's this idea, this Walt Disney thing, that life is full of happiness at all times. When you meet a stupid man, he is a man that expects to be happy all the time. I think you can agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that are silly, they're not seen as being legit. However, when a woman wants to be happy all the time, that's okay. Well, you deserve, all this, all these diamonds and such. I mean, all of what someone's supposed to do for you, never what you do for anyone else. How many stories do you run across of women abandoning children? Did you see the woman in London that went off for 6 days to party and her child starved to death and the child had the flu and she still left the child? This happens all the time. Leaving children in cars, abandoning kids. I mean, and we want all this praise around motherhood, but damn it, where's the work that people would praise around motherhood? Part of what motherhood was sacrifice. That if you didn't have anything, you had your mom. If your dad was a cock up, at least you had mom. You had mama to be there. If nothing else, you had big mama. If everything else failed, there was mama or grandma, somebody that was stable. Now these kids don't have that. They've got grandmothers and all that want to bar hop with the kids. They want to go out and trick too.
I'm gonna give people a challenge around 9:00 tonight. Around 9:00 tonight. Think about the top 10 trending topics in the urban community. I guarantee 8 of them are behind a woman doing some fuckery. I guarantee it, Dr. Show, it's going to be something about somebody twerking somewhere, somebody that did some crazy shit. And unfortunately, it's always got to be women. And then we're constantly told by some of these simp masters, that's the queen, brother. That's the queen.
Yeah, but the queen of what? What are you the queen of? And you make the word queen a disgrace. What are you queen of, really? No. Not queen my ass. No, not queen. Tramp. In fact, there is no other culture but ours where being known as a slut and a tramp is valued. You can't be a slut. You can't be a slut and be really, truly respected. There's certain things that Madonna will not get in white society. With all her hits, Madonna's still seen as a hoe. She'll always be seen as a hoe. You get where I'm coming from? I mean,
exactly.
And you'll never see Madonna out in public act like
you're right, D. Griff, you're right. Years ago, Big Mama was Big Mama. Now Big Mama is Big Ho Mama.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, this woman, coming back to what Newsom has done, is they brought us yet another ratchet broad to lie, trick, and deceive, to advance baby killing, right? I'm sorry, a lot of these women, they're not Big Mama. You had 40, 50 different men up inside of you. Your womb is a crime scene. Everything. And by the way, they're putting they're going to celebrate the first openly gay Black lesbian senator. That's going to be all the
she
news.
gets a standing ovation.
She is. It's going to be all over the media, and how advanced Newsom is, that he put a Black lesbian in.
He's progressive. He's leading the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, those who understand anything about politics or really being political, Sister Barbara Lee is sitting there holding the bag.
Sister Barbara Lee would have been the most rational person, if not Maxine Waters. But Barbara Lee is running for the Senate, and this has been known for years. And Barbara Lee, let me tell you something that Barbara Lee did, y'all. Barbara Lee has been patient. Barbara Lee never ran while Feinstein was alive. She did what a lot of you Black corporate broads do. Think, I can play ball, I can play the game. I know how to, right? Well, Barbara Lee has played by the rules. She got in and she served, she's done her job, she's been in the right causes, and she's waited her turn. And lo and behold, what did dude tell her? Fuck you, bitch. That's what he did. Fuck you, you Black bitch. Actually, fuck you, you heterosexual Black bitch. And it's a slap, it's a kick in her pussy, it's a slap in her face.
It's the usual, like you said, Dr. Short. It's the usual Black woman climb the corporate ladder.
They getting dogged.
They pay their dues. The whole time they have the credentials to get the promotion.
Mm-hmm.
They still got him as the secretary assistant. It's sad, man. It's really sad, and it really.
But you know,
go ahead, Dr. Short.
It reminds me of the Walmart movie documentary. Remember that came out about 12, 13 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the Black woman who was trying to be an executive in Walmart? And she had a husband who was dying from cancer.
Yeah.
And she neglected her husband because she was determined to making the white man's world improve, that she, her Black girl tragic. And ultimately, when she didn't get the job, she went up to her supervisor and says, why didn't I get the promotion? Was it my sex or was it my race? And the guy says, 2 out of 2 ain't bad. And she said, I neglected my husband and he died. The man that loved a Black wasn't worth anything. To be accepted and patted on the ass by white men was what she was reaching for. And you let your husband die. She had to admit that my husband loved me and I didn't make much time for him. He was dying. She figured she was going to roll on and be big, become a baller. Imagine. And you let your husband die. You let your husband die. She wasn't a wife. She was a roommate. A lot of these broads are roommates. Mm-hmm. They're not wives. And what they are roommates who aren't financial. Let me just say to you, they talk about the men being broke. Our race is broke. The whole purpose of having reparations is because we're broke. Why are they expecting Black men to be wealthy when the whole system is set up in particular to cheat Black men, first and foremost? It's about breaking Black men's back, and you come and curse him for his back being broken. You sound like a white dude. Really? I mean, sit down and process that. He's broke. Yeah. Without ever considering, and I've done some research, if you ever look in the archives, you'll notice a lot of times there's a Black man and a Black woman that are determined to not be poor, and they work together and they made something. Now we don't have much because, someone's literally, they're thinking you're going to walk up to them with your millions of dollars and say, hey, you, how you doing, ratchet, high body count, baby killer sister? How would you like for me to just give you all my money that you haven't helped me accrue? Solid. Let's get married. You don't have to have any money. You don't have to respect me. And I'm going to just lavish you. You don't even have to know how to cook or screw. I mean, if you really and she's probably a little overweight too. They're sitting around believing this stuff.
And D. Griff,
it's delusional.
D. Griff, you are exactly right. This black women, unfortunately, they're going to look at this as the biggest victory. And they're going to talk. This is going to be their black girl magic.
And you know what? She's going to be at the White House with Kamala and Biden.
And they can say it's going to be a turn.
This is going to be a big. They're going to have all of these people, the CBC and the NAACP and all of them. And see, it's not even permanent, Ho. I mean, you only have this. You only have this job. What's this? October, November, December. You're going to have this job for 15 months.
And then what will happen if she runs? If she does try to run against Sheila Lee, right?
You mean Barbara?
Lee. Yeah, I said Barbara. I said Sheila. If she does try to run against Barbara Lee, the DNC is going to put all the money and resources behind her.
She is.
And then they'll blame the California voters when she loses.
So let me share something with you. What if, here's what's going on. What if, friends, California has a major shift because Northern California is not Southern California? What if those people want a white woman in that position or a white man? And what if a white male gets that post, or a Latino or an Asian? When she, frankly, I understand her taking the job. And by the way, hold on, let me just go here. I got to. Look at how black women aren't sticking together, and you can't blame black men. Look at how this sister has been willing to be used by a white man to undercut another sister. This reminds me of what Keisha Lance Bottoms was talking about when we went to see the DNC chairman the other day. It was called The Plight of Black Women. And the woman from the Housewives of the Potomac and this other woman, I can send you the picture. You want me to send you the picture? Send you the picture of all those women on stage talking about how black women are crabs and they tear each other down and block each other from succeeding. This is what these women said their biggest challenge had been. It wasn't men. For all this lies of these goddamn feminists, these feminist women admitted that the men had been less opposed to their rise than other women.
Well, this is the same thing, Dr. Short, as well as what Nina Turner said the DNC did to her. After she done did all that politicking for them and galvanizing the people, they put all their resources behind the other girl. Now, the other girl happened to be a black woman, but they know what they do. You have to...
Wait a minute.
You have to look a certain way.
But no, Nina Turner was with Bernie Sanders. They wanted a woman that would be more pronounced for the conservative side of the Democratic Party. Nina Turner is on the left. So they punished her because her master was Bernie. And Bernie didn't even say anything when they gave her the finger. And who was the person that came in and campaigned for Jasmine? Not Jasmine, but for
Chantel. Her name's Chantel, right?
Yeah, Chantel got help from who? Clyburn. And so look at what's happened. No one's going to say. In fact, 2 days ago, a group of black politicians in California urged him to pick Barbara Lee. And he immediately.
And you guys, this was widely known that Barbara Lee will probably get the seat. Like, this was something they was even trying to get Feinstein to resign early so she gets the seat.
And she was good, and she was quiet. But again, these Black women don't support each other. The only time they come together is to kill the babies that they had with Black men, to promote the illegals, to attack the family, to show outrage when a Black celebrity or someone does something that women themselves do. So, right, you're there to get Bill Cosby and R. Kelly and all of that. But notice these same broads are sobbing about the missing women and children all over the country. Remember the Black woman up in Wisconsin killed her white pimp? You didn't see many Black women in Congress saying anything. No, you didn't. So there's going to be another Black woman in the Senate. She's all about women, not about Blackness. It's about all women, and it's about LGBTQ. The Equality Caucus has another person. And yesterday was the Equality Caucus birthday. And look at the day that he picked her on the Equality Caucus birthday. It has nothing to do with us. Nothing. So this woman, Butler, has worked the whole feminist lesbo dyke highway. And the message to young Black women, if you want to get somewhere, munch carpet. Don't be with a Black man. And I think she was artificially inseminated. And she's not even in California. She's here living in Maryland. Not even on the ground in California. Not even a native Californian. Are y'all understanding me? So Newsom, he attacks reparations one week, and the next week he puts a stud in to block out a real Black female fighter. Barbara Lee, who worked with the Black Panthers. Barbara Lee, who worked for Shirley Chisholm, who worked her way off welfare. She has a true Black woman's story of struggle. Did everything she had to do, and she's been climbing for 51, 52 years. And she's literally at the cusp of having some real political power. And this dude gives it to this broad who's not even from the hood over there. Wow. Wow. Let's hear from some women out there. Come on, sisters. Y'all don't think this is ridiculous? Any women in the room? Sisters, do you really think we're hating Black women? To think that the woman that earned it should have had a chance? Is this misogyny when I think Barbara Lee, who's been doing this for 50 years, almost as long as I've been living, that she should be passed over? Is that woman hatred? I'm sorry. We've gotten so absurd as a community. I'm saying that Barbara Lee should have had. Everybody knows it should have been Barbara Lee. And you know what? Barbara Lee was so gracious to congratulate her. And by the way, this woman, Miss Butler, is that a sister in there? Or is that a man? What's that saying, brother? Let me put my glasses on. That print is so small. Do you hear the comment? What's the comment saying?
The brother said, I live here in Sacramento, and I used to do security in various California state buildings. I see Kamala Harris at times, and I immediately knew that Kamala Harris was evil.
Okay, now what about Barbara Lee? What do you think about Barbara Lee?
Tell us what you guys think about Barbara Lee, anybody that lives in California, or particularly women. And tell us what you think about what's going to happen from this. You know, we want to have this type of platform where people in the chat contribute, and really people in the chat is the audience. Mm-hmm. So understand.
There's not one sister out there outraged. Y'all so down with carpet munching that Barbara Lee's work doesn't count.
Because they definitely making sure your cornflakes go down good this morning with this news.
Oh my God! There's not one sister outraged by this.
Well, you know, Dr. Short, I'm sitting here laughing, but my senator, he shows up in sweatsuits and hoodies every day.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, you mean the one that's crazy?
Yeah.
He stole the election.
Well, he had the stroke, and they still ran him after he had the stroke, knowing he's not healthy. But they don't care. They just want to have a senator that's there.
He's Democrat.
Yeah.
You know,
he wears hoodies and sweatsuits in chambers all the time.
You know, he could work for Campbell's. You know that. You know why too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of vegetable soup.
So if it's anyone in the chat, and like I said, particularly any females in the chat, tell us what you think with Barbara Lee being snubbed. The brother from California, tell us what you think, because this will definitely have a direct effect on California people.
Yeah, the reparations commission is gone.
Yeah, as well as those who Barbara Lee has been an advocate for the people, and now you basically have an outsider.
She's outside sexually too. It's just really hilarious. I mean, just what can we do, right? We just can't win. I'm just looking at this, and I'm looking at it where she almost looks like she's bald-headed with that stuff. God, look.
Newsom said, "To hell with what y'all think. I got a plan for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not listening to none of my advisors. I'm going with somebody that owes me some favors,
or someone that he can use."
Mm-hmm. And not the party could use, in particular him, where he's going to be able to, as they say, control a portion of the chessboard.
Mm-hmm. See, Barbara Lee's tried to be cool, and I know Barbara Lee's friends with one of my mentors that she's tried, but sorry, broad. They just played her. They've played her. She's too independent. It's too independent. And Barbara Lee sat out Barbara Boxer and Feinstein. She didn't run. She just tried to hang on. And
hey, Jeremy, I love your comment, but we're not talking about that right now. I'll save your comment for another time. But it's definitely an interesting thing what you just said. And Dr. Short and myself been wanting to have that particular topic. We've been wanting to talk about it, but we just haven't been able to do it. But we're going to be definitely doing something. We're
going to get it done this week. Was he talking about abortion?
He basically just said something about the black women being pregnant and the birth rate.
So, but you see, if you know anything about Margaret Sanger's thing, it's to get black women to get fascinated with education and to praise and praise and praise women becoming educated. I'm not knocking education, by the way, but overpraise education. So those women would be so busy earning degrees and being a symbol for their group that they wouldn't have children.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
you think about the fact that the white woman on the Supreme Court has 5 kids. These white women had their damn babies.
So the brother OG, Dr. Short, said Barbara Lee is a working Boule member. She's against reparations for Black Americans.
Oh, okay.
She's down with white supremacists all the way.
Okay, well, that means she's changed. All right, now, look, brother, can you give us more? See, I'm not in California. Barbara Lee used to. But if she's completely sold out, if she's against reparations, that's good to know. I ask people about Barbara Lee because I live out here. Give us a 411 on the Grinch that stole Christmas.
So he also said Barbara Boxer is another feminist, fastest hater of men, especially Black men. Well, explain to us what, because like we said, Dr. Short said, and I don't live in California as well. What, OG brother, what would benefit the Black family and Black people? Would it have benefited if Barbara Lee was the senator or this Laphonza Butler? Tell us, because we won't know. I don't know if it doesn't.
Maybe they're both bad. Again, you didn't hear me saying that I think that she's great.
We know that she's been a lifelong politician.
But they'll blame Black men for this. So yes, they will. And Black men will blame. They can get Umar Johnson or someone else, or Boyce Watkins, I don't say these names often, to talk about what Black men need to do more of. And Umar says a lot of stuff that's just right on the money. Boyce says a lot of stuff that's on the money. Okay, I'm not zeroing people out. But when it comes to this issue, a lot of Black men fail. And we don't have to. And this brother came and brought this stuff on Barbara Lee. I thought she was supporting reparations. I know that Maxine Waters has given lip service to reparations.
But the thing about it, even Dr. Short with Maxine Waters, since President Trump is not in office, you don't hear nothing about Maxine Waters. And that's what we do. We love to do performative politics and be loud and say, I don't give a fuck, and this, that, and third, only when it's opposed to another party. Instead of, Maxine Waters have not said anything for Black men, except the last time that I can remember is she spoke highly of when Freeway Ricky Ross was going through his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that was easy to talk about the guns for drugs issue. Where is she at now?
She's in her mansion, or hopefully in the makeup room.
And you'll never, and one thing I wanted to say, and I think I forgot to say it yesterday, you'll never hear a politician, a Black politician, call his country out. You'll never see it. These Black politicians, they have a way of, doing certain things that what we think and how we feel is just not going to happen. Okay, Brother OG said neither of them should get the seat because they are against an advancement they are against Black advancement. Point blank. Wow. Okay,
well, thank you, brother. Look, we know that Newsom is going to pick anybody good, and I know Barbara Lee and Emma Boulay. Remember, I'm here in D.C. and we've had a chance to watch them move. I'm just like, wow. And like I said, now, Brother OG, yes or no? Barbara Lee looks like the Grinch that stole Christmas. Put the picture up there.
I gotta find a picture. Hold up.
Oh, I sent you one. You have a whole bunch of them. There was a question.
No, he was talking about Oh, here we go. Hold up. Someone said, I think we are living in the last days of black elected official.
Well, thank God.
Maxine Waters is only thinking of doing things to keep her position in California.
Well, her position is secure with all these people coming across the border.
Bismarck said, I'm in California and Dr. Short is right.
Yeah, and I was trying not to come hard on Barbara Lee. People, folks think I just attack everybody. It's not true. I know that Oakland that whole area has been heavily gentrified, and there's a lot of homelessness. There's a lot of misery. I don't know how much of that is what she could do, but I know she's with this preacher. I hope he's not crooked, although most preachers are crooked. I'm sorry. I studied to be a preacher. I hated most of the preachers. Like, damn, I hate y'all. Like, God, I got to be around these sorry ass niggas. I don't think I could make it in church, God, because I'd be wanting to kill these niggas up in the pulpit. I hate them. They won't do anything in the community. I got called a communist. Brother Short, why are you always talking about the poor people? Bible said they're going to be with us always. Said they're going to be with us always because you niggas are robbing them. Man, your spirit's wrong. I don't think you're going to work out here, brother. I just said, you know what? Hell. You won't have to put me out of your church. I fucking quit. This fake ass people. You can go to hell with your damn white Jesus. It's a graven image. It's against the commandments. Now, don't you sit up here and lecture us because you went to some big white school. We know about God, too. I said, you do. You know about God. It certainly doesn't show how many homeless people's asses I had to step in to get in this bitch. Nah, let me leave. I can't stay here. Shoot. Folk make you want to be a Muslim. Then I found out that was some bullshit too. Damn. I'll just be a Jesus nigga, right? Try to find the Jesus in that Turner. Now he's kind of cool. Weak ass. Oh my God. Come on, y'all. Talk to us, chat, because we're about to clock out. If y'all don't come, step up, treat us like we white men. If this were Larry King, y'all asses would all be on here. Hi, it's so nice to be on the show with white hosts. I hope you take my question. I'm black. Thanks for telling us no. Put a W on your question so we know you're white. We'll answer your question. Anyway. Everybody must be asleep. How many people in the chat room?
Somebody said, we got a nice amount in the chat room. I was throwing Maxine Waters when she supported WAP, Megan Thee Stallion.
But you know what? The problem with Maxine Waters is that she doesn't know about WAD. Okay, WAD is where that's dick. She hasn't had any with her cheating ass husband. So, and she hasn't had WAP in so long. I mean, if her cooch is as dry as her wrinkled face, I'd be celebrating WAP too. But that's being nostalgic. She used to have it going on. She still has a tight booty. You see at the Congressional Black Caucus. I was walking behind Maxine once and said, whoa, look at that oven stuff, a roaster. And she turned her face around, almost felt like a phaser from Star Trek. It stung me. Whoa. But from behind, if you see Maxine, it look okay. But when she turns around, man, talk about could stop traffic, or should I say disrupt traffic. That face, that dinosaur face. It grows. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hold up, Dr. I'm about to pull something up real quick.
Are you going to put up the Grinch? Did you find the Grinch?
Yeah, I got it. I'm having little issues right now. Hold on. Okay.
And I hope everybody likes this show. Come on, y'all. Like this while we got this lag time. Like this show. Hit the like. Subscribe. Oh, we can't wait to talk about baby killing. We will. We've been talking about this in the last couple of days. We got to do some of this baby killing. All these women killing children. Oh, yes, we're coming. And I can't wait to get back to talk about Africa. And got to get my computer fixed today. That's jamming up me launching my other platform. Oh, that was such a
Maxine Waters'
disappointment.
family got some dirt on them in Southern California.
They do. I mean, if you look at her daughter who looks like Anthony Evans, she does. Take the mustache off Anthony Evans. That's what I'm telling you. You think I'm joking? Maxine Waters' daughter looks like Anthony Evans.
I'll just do it this way. So everybody in the chat,
Maxine Waters' husband is allegedly done some crooked stuff. They were after her, and I think she made the deal. I'll just kiss your ass. Just don't, just don't, mess with me. A lot of the people in the CBC, they do dirty stuff. They come in and try to steal. I just want to steal like the white people, but you're not white, dummy. You can't steal like a white person. You can't do what Menendez has done, right? You can't do that. You can't have gold bars in your drawers. You can't. Who told you you could do what the other people do? We need to stop trying. That stuff makes me sick. Black folks acting like they can do what white people do. No, you can't.
Dr. Short, you got a question. What do you think about my Latina friends to saying to get a Latina because the black women hate black men? Even they know.
It depends on what kind of Latina. Okay, so if you get you can get a black and conscious Latina, that's cool. But you also could end up getting used by some MS-13 plant. Or you could get, so to me, let me say this. The scriptures say a man that finds a wife findeth a good thing. There are good Black American women out here, but it's really hard filtering and finding them. It's hard. It's hard. It's worse than, one of those puzzles that they put in the papers on Sunday. So if you can find a good Black American woman that's loyal, that's faithful, that's not morbidly overweight, isn't so damaged, and doesn't have notches on her ovaries for the abortions or bed count, hook up with them. If you find a really good sister from here, they do exist. I can't give you hints on where to find them. Now that the dirty South has emerged, people used to say you could find a good woman down South, not anymore. So I don't know where they are. If you say in church, no, I don't know where they're out here. I just don't know where they are. They do exist. I just don't know where they are. So that's what I say about the Black American woman. So if there's some sister out there that's over, he's telling everybody to screw everyone else. No, I'm saying if you can find a good sister here, cool. If you can't, Brazilians, especially if they know who the hell they are as Black people, are good. Colombians can be good, especially if you get a Black one. Sometimes the Dominicans are good. Venezuelans can be good. Be careful when you're messing with folks in Africa in particular. I have to say, be very cautious with some of our West African sisters. I'm just saying, they've been copying the game here so hard until, basically you get a cross between Superfly, Jungle Book, and Tarzan if you hook up with them, with the little Wakanda thrown in it. You don't need all that. You could have dysfunctional right here. You could have grifting, lying, cheating here. I'm thinking there are some places where they can be okay on the African continent, but you have to shop carefully. They are working all over the planet to promote feminism and confusion among Black women because of the birth rate. And unfortunately, our sisters are largely clueless of it. Be very fearful of any African woman that spent too much time in Europe. She's going to copy European feminism. Be very fearful of women that are too Americanized. If they're from Africa, they can be a problem too. Basically, that's a pork chop with a green card or a pork chop with citizenship. So I wouldn't bother the Caribbean. It's very tricky. Mess with Jamaica, just the whole thing. Just be afraid of that. Be afraid. Be afraid. Okay. They can cook good and then poison your ass. So, um, so some people from France, if they're Black and they have some tradition. So my thing is to shop the whole planet and make certain that the people have some morality, that you have their birth certificate, so you know, because folks are doing trans globally now. But the key thing is to look for character, loyalty, femininity, wiffery, a woman that wants to be a wife, and be very leery of anyone that's obsessed with coming to America. Certain women don't want to come here. They're the best ones, the ones that don't want to get caught up in the feminist matrix bullshit here. Women that like their culture and have watched the Maury Povich show and don't like America that much. Meet women that are contemptuous of America, not women that worship and want to be just like the housewives of Atlanta or the housewives of Rikers Island. I mean, you don't want that, right? And also, it's important. These people need to believe in something. And for all of you fools, make certain that these women aren't into witchcraft. You know, they have a whole thing in one place in West Africa where the women are really nice, but they put, I'm going to say it, pussy blood in your food to brainwash you. So, you know, don't eat the lasagna or the spaghetti, you know. Say, oh, no, I'll go to McDonald's because they'll set you up. Yes, they do. They do that in the Caribbean, too. They will give you sweat rice. They get a basin of rice and let the fluids off their vagina drip into the food. And it's supposed to make a man go crazy and feed him excretions from your vagina in this food. It makes a man fall madly in love with you. A woman can completely control you. Yes, these people do this kind of stuff over in these countries. Yes, it's real. It's called sweat rice. See, look, some of these foreigners don't fuck with me on this thing. I mean, I've been around mostly foreigners. Don't know they will. They'll put some sweat rice on you. They'll put a charm or a curse on you, be doing everything they want. They don't need feminism if they've got voodoo or Santeria or Obia or Juju. Oh, yes, they will. And these people talk about voodoo and how holy it is. If it's so holy, how come they can't do something about the white people and other people stealing everything from them in Haiti? Why can't they do something about the gangs? If it's so powerful.
Dr. Shore, he asked a question.
Mm-hmm.
The same brother. He happens to be a younger brother. He said, why do Black women refuse to study history?
Well, maybe you have to understand that what gives the people their character, my brother, is the men. The Black American men have been lied to by the boomer men. The boomer men are scum. And let me explain to you how. They've preached all this matriarchalism as a cop-out and told you that the women represent the people and all that, and that's not true. If the women represent the people, they should be the army of the people. No people's army is constituted of women primarily, although there may be women that fight. Whoever fights to preserve sovereignty represents the people. So tell all the feminists I said, kiss my ass. Men are the army of the people, not women. Men represent the history and the legacy of the people, not that women can't share it. So if you start thinking about your great, 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 great Black historians in this country, they're mostly men. And even with women being the majority of the people in academia for Black folks, the majority of people getting degrees are Black women. I don't know. There's certain things that women don't gravitate to. And they have a right because they're women. Women do what women want. I'm not trying to say what women should do. You're great historians. Diop, Dr. Ben, right? Claude Anderson. What's this one? Hendrik Clark, Dr. Benjamin Quarles, John Hope Franklin. When you start naming the people who are the major historians, and the one that just died, Dr. Imhotep, these are men. Not saying that they aren't women historians. I'm never going to tell you what women, there's some things women can't do, like they can't have testicles, right? And they have different bone density and muscle mass than males do, but there are a lot of things that basically men or women can do. And I guess sometimes there may be some things that women are better at men than in doing, and there's some things that men are better than women in. So I would say to you, history, if you really get into it, history is often used as education for what? For people to fight. What a history conveys is who you are, what you've been, where you're going, what's yours, what belongs to you. Now, a woman can know all the history, but ultimately, at the end of the day, if I tell you about a guy I know named Amari, who lives in North Carolina, he has the story of his grandfather. His grandfather had a lot of land, but his grandfather had the misfortune of having a whole bunch of girls, like 8 or 9 girls, and no sons. And the white folks were able to force him to give up his land. He didn't have anybody to help him fight for the land. A woman can, all these movies that they have out now where the superheroes are women, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You can't have women fight in the military. All this is true. Women are good snipers. I'm not trying to take nothing from women. But your armies historically have been men. Your armies have been men. Always have been. Men do the fighting. And therefore, men need to have an idea of who their people are, where they've been, and so forth. You see, I'm not saying that women can't. I'm just saying that men can and men have. And don't get upset about what women don't do. If you're listening to what I'm saying in these conversations, I'm doing 2 things. I do what most people don't. I'm critical of men and women. We men have to step up. Our failure increases our suffering. Our failure, our refusal to do what we're supposed to do is part of why we're in the mess that we're in. And if men did what they were supposed to do, women would be forced to do what they're supposed to do.
With that, remember, family, like, share, subscribe, support. Dr. Short's Cash App is Dr. Randy Short. Let's Talk's Cash App is L Talk 5600. And remember, the best way to support the channel and hopefully the channel grows is by the listeners. The listeners continue to support the channel. Appreciate everybody for joining us this late night, early morning. And if you have any questions for Dr. Short in particular, specifically for you, he's open to email. And remember that a lot of times, Dr. Short, explain to everyone what some of the research work at the as far as genealogy.
Well, it's not that deep. Just if I have to get back on, I got some stuff I'm late on. But what I tend to do is for people is go and do research at the National Archive. I am totally behind on 2 projects, and I thought I would finish this weekend only to learn that my
my computer wasn't functioning, so I couldn't complete it. But I do research for people, and we go through it. You've got all kinds of records in the National Archives, military records, birth records, and a lot of times when people are trying to find out information about families, ancestors, one place that's likely to have it would be the National Archives. That's one thing I can assure you. So let me see. So yeah, people can reach out, drop me a line, and see what we can do. So I'll probably resume doing stuff later in the month.
Okay. So with that, like I said, everybody make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and hopefully this broadcast will help your cornflakes go down good this morning. And for those in California, man, we got to hold these politicians accountable, man. They work for you. It's not the other way around. They should not be up there on that pulpit dictating policy to you. You should be dictating what you want from them and what's expected from them. If not, you're going to get their sorry asses out of office.
And it has to be just like that. And if you're not going to do that, then accept always being messed over, exploited, and screwed. There's just no other way to it.
Yep. With that, you guys have a good day. We'll probably see you guys a little later. We don't know for sure or what time, but we'll probably see you guys a little later. Have a good day, man, and stay safe and understand where you're at.